case included, let me give a summary of it. Mr. Arasim saw, was at a courthouse in a courtroom, and an officer, a leader in the police department, was viewed as being in uniform at this court event. Mr. Arasim was complaining, or his complaint included that he was in uniform and should not have been, and that his he was without the lapel camera that is required for all police officers to wear. Diane did the investigation and came to the conclusion that the case, what was happening in the court, was the equivalent of a preliminary hearing, and therefore the uniform issue was a non-issue because that SOP doesn't apply in that case. Mr. Arasim provided in that complaint 7 people as witnesses to the fact that the officer did not have a lapel camera. In reviewing this case, the appeal of this case, Mr. Arasim complained that the other people, 6 of the 7 people, were not interviewed. And we have decided to grant the appeal because for the reason that the staff did not include, the staff made a conscious choice not to interview the other witnesses, but did not note that in the letter. Therefore, because we want our investigations to be as complete as possible, we are going to grant the appeal.
You're recommending
that the board approve the granting of this appeal for Mr. Arasim based on that.
Okay, there's 3 bases, one of 3 that is required to for us to be able to grant an appeal. Mr. Harness, can you tell us which of those gets ticked off?
Chair Moore, I believe Mr. Arasim's appeal makes a prima facie case for a lack for the investigation being arbitrary and capricious.
Okay. So, Ms. Fine, if I understand, it's your motion that the board...
The case review committee is recommending that the board accept, hear the appeal.
Okay, and I'll accept that as a motion. Is there a second?
A second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to hear Mr. Arasim's appeal.
And that would take place when?
Well, no sooner than next meeting, depending on how the schedule. But we, you know, you're here, so we don't really have to give notice, but we have to get formal notice the way we do everyone else. Is there any other discussion before we vote? Mr. Cruz?
So my understanding is that we're doing this because it wasn't outlined in the letter.
Right. It was the letter. The committee felt that the letter was incomplete, and therefore we need an opportunity to have that discussion. There was a rationale for not doing what wasn't done in the letter, but that rationale wasn't included in the letter.
So for future, if this ever happens again, then we would outline that in the letter. We wouldn't have to do this again. Is that the...
No, the only process that's available to Mr. Arasim is to appeal our decision.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so we have to accept that or not. That's the choice we have.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes, Chairman of the Board. In addition, Mr. Arasim brought forth an affidavit from an additional witness that was not identified in his original complaint. So that also is included within his appeal.
And with the committee, I should just say, had a concern about how long do you allow a complaint to be added to. I mean, you know, what if we decide that, you know, we're going to do that every week and it's 20 people that were in the courtroom? You know, there's a point of craziness about that. So we had a concern about that, but despite that concern, we felt like we should hear the appeal because the letter was incomplete.
If there's no other discussion, I would take a vote on that. All those in favor of hearing the appeal, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Any opposed? Okay, so we will schedule that no sooner than the next coming meeting. And depending on what else is on our schedule, it could be the one after that, but you will receive notice. Anything else from the case review subcommittee?
I just want to know.
Yeah, 30 seconds.
Oh, no, just very simple, very simple. Will I be granted full access to the investigative files so I can prepare for my appeal?
You will be able to see or have the public record portion of the file. So there's a portion of those files that are sealed personnel records that you may not have.
Sure, I understand that. Okay, thank you very much.
Anything else from the case review subcommittee? Seeing no. Personnel subcommittee. The personnel subcommittee met recently.
Wednesday, yeah.